In 2025, global data creation surpassed 180 zettabytes, up nearly 150% from just a few years ago. That exponential growth points to two unavoidable realities. Infrastructure is shifting fast. Cloud adoption, app modernization, and hybrid data ecosystems are the new norm. Organizations cannot afford to let legacy systems or fragmented storage slow them down. Data agility is now business critical. It is not just about storing more data, it is about moving it, syncing it, and making it useful across every function, team, and decision. But with all that momentum comes a massive challenge: data migration complexity. Whether it is cloud-to-cloud movement, lifting on-prem systems into modern environments, or syncing new applications with legacy sources, the process is often slow, fragile, and resource intensive. So you've been tasked with the following. Your company has 50 terabytes of data and management wants it moved to the cloud by next month. So where do you even start? Migration. It's the process of moving data, users, applications, or services from one system to another. And while that sounds simple, a successful migration is often one of the most complex projects an organization will undertake. So why do companies migrate in the first place? Maybe they want their data to be available from anywhere in the world. Maybe they want employees to work remotely without relying on special infrastructure. Perhaps legal or compliance requirements mean their data must stay within a specific country. Some organizations need their data replicated across multiple locations because different systems depend on it. Others want to move away from maintaining expensive on-premise infrastructure and take advantage of cloud services. Sometimes the motivation is as simple as getting a better deal from a new provider or gaining access to features that only exist on a particular system. And in many cases, businesses need better backup, archiving, disaster recovery, or real-time synchronization capabilities. Whatever the reason, migration is rarely about moving files. So why should you listen to me? I have spent more than 10 years working on different migration projects. During that time, I have seen migrations fail, succeed, run behind schedule, run ahead of schedule, and reveal problems nobody knew existed. The one thing that I've learned is that most people don't even know where to start. Questions like, how do I prepare for a migration? What should I migrate first? How do I avoid downtime? How do I know everything arrived correctly? What do I do if something goes wrong? In this series, I'll walk through the migration process from planning to execution and finally to project completion. We're going to dive into the ins and outs of different cloud storage providers, the gotchas, the bells and whistles. But first, understanding migration. Most migrations share a few characteristics. They are usually large in scale, coordinated across multiple teams, repetitive, or recurring. Moving data or services from one location to another, either temporarily or permanently. The bigger the migration, the more planning becomes important. What actually needs to be migrated? When people think about migration, they usually think about files. But files are only part of the picture. A migration project may involve user authentication. How will users sign into the new system? Will existing accounts be reused, synchronized, recreated? Then, user provisioning. How will users be created and managed going forward? Will this be automated through Active Directory, Entra ID, Google Workspace, or another identity provider? Data cleanup and restructuring. Do you really want to move everything? Maybe some of the data can be archived or moved to a different location. Many organizations discover outdated, duplicated, or unnecessary data during a migration. A migration can be perfect opportunity to clean things up. Data analysis. What kinds of data are you moving? One should know the file types, file sizes, the number of files, the number of folders, the overall required storage volume plus some, and whether or not you need previous versions. Understanding the data is essential for estimating project duration and identifying potential problems. Permissions is another issue. Who should have access to what? Permissions are often more complicated than the data itself. Migrating incorrect permissions can create security risks, whereas not migrating certain permissions or missing permissions can disrupt business continuity. Services and applications. Which applications depend on the data? What automation workflows access it? Are there integrations, APIs, scripts, or third-party tools that need to be updated? How do users access the data today? And how do they expect to access it tomorrow? Hybrid environments. Will data move all at once? Or will some of the systems remain and be accessed from where they were before? Many organizations operate on hybrid environments for months or even years due to a plethora of possible reasons. So now, the follow-up question to the above. Why not just drag and drop? This is one of the most common questions. If it's just files, why not simply drag and drop them? And the answer is scale and reliability. Moving large amounts of data takes time. A drag and drop operation routes everything through your local machine and internet connection, creating an unnecessary bottleneck. It's also highly vulnerable to interruptions. If something fails halfway through, there's usually no intelligent recovery process. Failures can happen for many reasons. Network interruptions, invalid file names, path length limitations, metadata issues, file size restrictions, permission problems. And when something goes wrong, troubleshooting becomes difficult. You typically have no detailed logging, no centralized monitoring, no migration statistics, no integrity validation or reporting, no proof that the destination data exactly matches the source. Perhaps most importantly, dragging and dropping doesn't provide any delta capabilities. If the process stops after transferring 90% of the data, you'll often need to start over or manually determine what was missed. Professional migration tools can identify what has already been transferred and continue where they left off. So migration is more than just moving files. A successful migration is not just about copying the data. It's about understanding users, permissions, applications, integrations, compliance requirements, business processes. The planning, validation, and coordination are where most of the work happens. In the next section, we'll look at how to properly prepare for a migration before moving a single file.